Your word matters way more than you actually think. Whenever you say something, whenever you tell people, hey, I'm going to do this, you should do it. Let me tell you why. When I interact with a couple of people, and I have a couple of stories to tell as well. I'll start with this one. So, at some point in my life, I was friends with somebody ever since the years of preschool all the way up to high school. Was friends with him. And one day, I decided to host this event with a group of friends, right? And so everybody was supposed to respect the rules, respect me because I'm the hoster of the event, There's a lot of unspoken rules, but I wrote a lot of them down just to make sure that everybody was on the same page. Everybody was like, okay, cool, very nice, very excited, very open to looking forward to this, all that sort of stuff. And so what happened was this guy with a friend he invited decided to disrespect me and completely trash the event. And so I told them, well, you didn't really respect your word, didn't you? Not only did you disrespect me as an individual and trash the event, but you also decided to tarnish my reputation of an event hoster. You also decided to bring in one of your friends, which he did probably even worse than he did. And the worst part about that is they didn't even say sorry. They didn't even care. That was probably the worst part, because they said they were going to be respectful and to play by the rules and whatnot. It's a bit of an unspoken thing, right? When you're going to an event. And so what ended up happening was I told them, well, if you're not going to say sorry, I can't be your friend anymore. Because you're not really going to say something, and anytime you're going to say something, I'm not going to be able to trust you, is what I'm talking about. And so the point of this lesson that I learned and that I'm sharing is that there are people that will always put themselves before others, and they will always care more about how they feel rather than making others feel better, making others' lives better, respecting others. Because at the end of the day, all men on this earth, I think, want respect. It's the only thing we actually want, is respect from other people. Because if everybody respected each other, nobody would actually do anything bad. It would actually be quite rare for somebody to do something bad if everybody respected each other. But the problem is, some people don't even respect themselves. So then they do those kinds of things. They trash an event. They tell you to go fuck yourself. They disrespect you. Whatever it may be. And this came to my attention quite early in my life. Like, I started building my business and learning high income skill, and going to the gym and getting disciplined and understanding how I can use my time more efficiently over 4 years ago. And this was prior to that. So realistically, I had to think for myself, okay, am I actually... Okay, I actually put a lot of value on somebody respecting what they're talking about, and somebody respecting their word and keeping to it. So what does this say? What does it say about me? What does it say about the people that keep their word firm? If you keep yourself to your word and you respect what you say, hey, I'm going to do this by this time, and you do it. And even if somebody doesn't see you do it, but the simple fact of having done that thing because you said you would manages to combine your own personal self-confidence with the fact that you actually got stuff done. The most important part of getting better on a day-to-day basis is to say you're going to do something and do it, because your actions have far more weight than your words. So if you can combine both of those, then your words automatically have more weight than regular people that don't respect their word. And so you have to think for yourself, okay, am I actually a man of my word, or do I just say things whenever it's convenient? And you can go both sides of the spectrum to this extreme. You can go all in on just lying all the time and telling people what they want to hear, but not actually following through and just doing what you want to do. Or you can go all in on the other extreme, which is you never lie, you're always respecting your word, even if that goes against something you should have said no to. If you say, I'm a man that respects his word 100% of the time, and I never lie, and I'm completely truthful and honest, not only with myself, but the people around me, well, in that case, you're going to have to make much harder decisions. Some people are going to get angry. Some people are going to get upset by what you're saying. Some people are going to look up to you, though. This is extremely important. Whenever you're going on the road to getting better, you'll notice there are two kinds of people. People who are jealous, people who think you shouldn't be doing that because it does not validate who they are as a person right now. And it only validates the fact that they should be doing better, which in turn shines a light on their weaknesses and on their insecurities, on the things they're not progressing towards. If you're talking to someone right now and you know it's somebody that doesn't really respect his word, I guarantee you that person will probably 99% of the time stay where they are and never get better as a human being. They'll never improve, they'll never get better, they'll never seek improvement. Even if it feels like shit, they won't feel like doing it. Even if it's easy, they won't do it because they don't care. Oh yeah, New Year's resolutions, I would really want to do this. They're never going to do it. They're never going to do it. Somebody, on the other hand, who respects his word and says, hey, I don't know how much time this is going to take, and I'm not going to lie about when I'm actually going to get it done. I have this deadline that I would like to achieve, but I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it by that time. But regardless, I'll do my best in order to achieve this goal by that time. And I don't know if I'm going to succeed, but I know I'm going to pull it off because I've decided. And I will see this through, no matter how many years, how many months, how many centuries it takes. I don't care. I don't care how much time it takes. I will see it through or die trying. That's what it means to respect your word. You say you do something and you do it, even if the cost is quite high. If you say, don't be fucking retarded, okay? Don't say, hey, I'm gonna burn off my hand and cut it off. Like why the fuck would you even do that? I don't know. But sometimes you have to sacrifice not only people, but also parts of yourself, not only your past self, but your current self, in order to become better. This is what I've noticed. I had to cut a lot of people out of my friend group because they didn't match with who I wanted to be. They didn't really respect their word. When they said, hey, I'll be there at X time, they weren't there in time. Hey, let's hop on the game at 4 p.m. They weren't there at 4 p.m. They were there at 5 p.m. So obviously, I'm not going to be able to rely on them and trust them in the future. It's small, tiny things like that that make you understand what kind of a person they are. If they don't feel guilty because they don't respect their word, then it's not a person you should be friends with. Because it's somebody, if they don't respect their word, they will always serve their own selfish interest before putting yours at the forefront. As they say, hey, I'll buy you food tomorrow at 4 p.m. and they don't do it, then that means that's a person you can't really rely on. And even if people could change to a certain extent, you have to keep in mind that respecting your word is a core principle belief in a couple individuals out of 100. It's not something everybody does, because not everybody is taught this at a young age. So you have to think for yourself, am I a man of my word? And am I going to garner the respect of others? Or am I just going to serve my own selfish interest and not give a fuck about anybody else other than myself? Those are the two extremes. And no matter if you fall in one or the other, it's a binary equation. You either are or you aren't. You either keep your word or you don't. And just remember that there are people out there in the world that would give you opportunities only if you are the kind of man that respects his word, that keeps to it and stands by it. Hey, I believe in this, or hey, this is who I am. I said I was going to do this by this time, so I'm going to do it. This is who I want to be. I will be this person by this time. And even if I don't achieve it by this time, I will find a way to become that person, no matter what. Those things, saying those things, and backing it up with actions will set you in a class of people much higher than the average person. Because not only will people trust you way more, but they will also think, okay, this guy is actually somebody important. I shouldn't fuck around with this guy, because if I do, he's just gonna cut me out. That's what I'm talking about. All of the people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, I see them for who they truly are. Nobody has very high standards, unlike people like myself, which I don't really like talking about myself as much, because I know you guys would prefer having me give you advice that you can apply for yourself rather than talking about me as an individual. But at the end of the day, if you have high standards, if you have principles and boundaries and things you stand by, and that you will not allow anybody to trample over them, in that case, I urge you to keep this in mind every single time you're interacting with other people. Ask yourself, whenever you're interacting with somebody, is this person somebody who is going to keep their word? Or is this somebody that is only going to serve their own selfish interests? And then you will understand what kind of people you will surround yourself with, and you will know what to expect of them. For me, whenever I'm looking at a lot of different relationships, may it be dating, may it be going to find friends in different industries, different client relationships, different business relationships, different friendships, mentorships. At the end of the day, I only surround myself with the people that are congruent with themselves. I don't want to put myself in the same room and talk to the same person that doesn't respect their word because it doesn't fit with my own personal worldviews. And so, in that case, if I put myself in the same room with somebody that doesn't respect their word, then in that case, that thing, how he sees the world, is going to bleed onto me because I'm in the same room he is, because I'm spending time with him. So I need to be careful who you spend time with. Because if you spend time with people who don't give a fuck, who are just like super despicable, super selfish, and don't care about anybody else other than themselves, then in that case, you need to be very, very careful why you're spending time with them and how much time you're spending with them. Because if you spend a bunch of time with them, you'll end up like them. You'll end up the same as they are. And if that's not somebody you want to be, then in that case, I urge you to cut those people out of your life. It's not that hard. You might have to need to have that hard conversation. Say, hey, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't really want to talk to you anymore. So have a good day. Have a good life. Take care of yourself. Wish you the best. And I will be on my way now. And they might be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they might guilt trip you into staying. And you should not listen to those people. You are the only person in your life who knows what is best for you. So you are the only person who can take decisions and actions that correlate with that. It's very simple. Ask yourself, would my future self want to be friends with this person? Would my future self that I'm trying to become want to be friends with this person? And if the answer is no, you already know what to do. So, small assignment for today. Take a look at all of the friendships that you know, all of the people you know, family members, whatever, dating, relationships, romantic or not. And ask yourself, is this person congruent with who they are? And would my future me want to be in the same environment as that person if they didn't change? And if the answer is no, then you already know what to do. You already know you need to cut them out, spend less time with them. But if the answer is maybe, I don't know, yeah, then in that case, make sure that relationship is nurtured. Make sure that relationship is taken care of like a garden. If you don't take care of the garden, it's going to die. So you need to do your best to make them understand that you value the relationship. Because if you don't, they're going to leave. It's happened to me multiple times already. Because I was incapable of seeing and communicating accurately what I felt like. And this is my own personal problem. So it's a completely different thing. But the whole point is you need to be a man that respects his word, because it will get you much further in life. Not only in business, in your career, in friendships, and anywhere in society. If you're a man of high principle that holds himself to a higher standard, that respects his word, people will treat you much differently. And with that said, feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this topic on this video, or if you have any different recommendations for different topics that you would like me to talk about. Feel free to chuck those in the comments. And with that said, like, comment, subscribe. It does help me out a lot. I put out these videos every single day. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, just stick around and you'll see another video tomorrow. Or check out the other videos if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And with that said, it's a beautiful day. It's time to get back to work. And I will see you in the next one tomorrow. Have a great day. See ya.